Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to video review for Underworld Awakening. It's a movie starring Kate Beckinsale, Theo James, aka Four from the Divergent series, as well as the dude that you would recognize from V for Vendetta as the police inspector, and also has the dude from Almost Human. I really like that actor. I really liked that show. I'm really sad that show didn't last, and I'm really sad I haven't seen that actor in many other things. So, yeah, in terms of the good, the bad, and the furry, if you liked the amount of furry in the first three, there's more in this one. Although they're a bit more grossified and bigified. So, yeah, moving on to the good, the bad. So from what I remember vaguely from the special features or the trivia, there was something with Scott Speedman where he either wanted too much money, or there was a scheduling conflict, or they just couldn't get a contract, or something, or maybe he wanted his character to have more of a role. I don't remember, but I think they had to do some rewrites or change what the storyline was because he ended up not being involved all that much. So that's why all the shots of him were in faraways and obscured by stuff and mostly back shots. Yeah, so a little unfortunate that took place. So a little sad about that. But in general, this is an excellent movie. It's not as good as the first three, in my opinion, simply because in the first two, you get to know enough about their world, I'm going to call it the real world, but the non-vampire Lycan war world, that you can kind of be like, okay, it's in this approximate time frame. And then obviously the third one is the prequel, and then you come to this one, and they sort of ended the second one on a very hopeful note of hey, she has these I can be in the sun powers, and she's got Corvina's blood in her, and can is a little bit more powerful. Clearly more powerful enough that she kind of stopped Marcus when he was hitting a couple times, but she didn't get transformational powers, so more powerful but not as powerful just physically. I don't know. Anyway, point being, ended hopeful there. And then with this one, she kind of has her opening narration of things ended well there, and we were happy for a time, and then the humans started hunting us. It's okay, it was for a time, a few decades, or was for a time 20 minutes, and then finally all those explosions on the boat and everywhere else finally brought the vampire Lycan conflict to the awareness of regular people. Because the level of technology that they showed is just a little odd, in my opinion, relative to what we were seeing in the first two. So, yeah, I think that's my main problem with it. The other thing is that they again rely a little bit more heavily on the CGI, and again, the CGI does not hold up, in my opinion, as well as animatronics do. So, especially the chase scene in the car or the van, where the lower Lycans are following them, they have no weight to them when they're landing on the cars, and that's because they're CGI, so nothing's actually hitting the cars. And it kind of reminded me of a not even as well done, and even in The Mummy 2 it was not as well done, but The Mummy 2 chase scene where the mummies are chasing them in the double-decker bus, and they're on the sides of the buildings and whatnot. It has that feel to it, but that didn't look great either, and this also doesn't look great. So it's okay, and it's not enough to detract from my overall enjoyment of the movie, but yeah. The other thing, and I feel like this gets into minor spoiler territory, it's kind of a ways into the movie, so it's still a good movie, so 2 thumbs up, check it out, it's a fun time. Theo James kicks ass, is amazing in all the things he does, so he's always a win, basically. It also has the dad from Game of Thrones, Tyrion Lannister's dad, so, he's got gravitas for days, and there's a lot of good things about this movie. Also, the number 2, I'm not going to reveal what the number 2 is, but number 2 stars in another movie called Kite, and yes, I don't remember all the things about Kite, but I remember thinking that it was a good movie. It was a fun time. Not the highest budget, not the, uber best, but it had, Lay on the Professional vibes to it. It was a fun time. So check out Kite, and yeah, I enjoyed the Subject Two's character in this as well. I thought that that person did a fantastic job. Okay, so moving on to spoiler territory. Minor spoilers, but still spoiler territory. They make this big deal about the big werewolf, like the big werewolf guy, just the 2 times larger. And I thought they did a decent job with the CGI on that. Like, I think they spent the most amount of time with him on the CGI, so I think it worked the best. And that the combination of him with the practical effects does work overall. Mostly it's the lower Lycans that weren't working for me. But they do this thing where she's fighting him with a dumb looking, in my opinion, but fancy sword, and cuts off like his pinky and his ring finger when he's in uber Lycan mode. And then she like fights him off, and she escapes, and he escapes, and then they're talking about like this serum that is making the werewolves like 500% more healing ability and huge muscles and be way bigger and blah blah blah, like all these amazing things. And like they specifically harp on how much better the regeneration is. And yet this guy never regenerated those 2 fingers. So I guess Lycans, even with all of their uber healing ability, and the fact that like there's even a point where he's like, I heal instantly, is not able to heal bones. Like it's just soft tissue. I don't know. I feel like at least what they could have done is have maybe regular Lycans not be able to heal dismembered limbs, but then have uber heal Lycan do that. Because if you can heal instantly, you could. Why can't you regenerate bones? Like you're already generating a huge amount of bone mass to become uber Lycan. And I assume that it's because you want to be able to recognize, like the filmmakers wanted you to be able to recognize, like, oh, that's not a different big Lycan. That's the big Lycan from earlier. Oh, I know him. That's the same because of the finger thing. I feel like they could have established it some other way. Like have him wear a necklace or a belt or something, or just have him shrink in front of you the first time. So you're like, oh, that's his face. Okay, cool. Like something else that would have made more sense. So that's kind of my big gripe with this one. Other than the weird timeline technology jump, if you will. The other thing, probably the last thing I'll bitch about, but is that in I think the start of the second one, when Scott Speedman character is like, no, it's fine, I'm fine, I don't want to drink blood. She's like, bro, you are gonna get thirsty, and you are going to need to drink blood. So if you don't drink this blood that is from our either fake or donated blood company that we have, like if you don't drink this blood that we have for you here, and you get hungry while you're out and about, you might eat a human. And trust me, you don't want that on your conscience. Like, you don't want a human on your conscience. So to me, it seemed like they were, I think, trying to continue, and for those of you who hadn't seen the first one, like, to establish that they are the good guys in this. We're like, see, they're not trying to eat humans, even though they're vampires. So it leads me to believe that in the first and second one, the vampire Lycan war with the Death Dealers and all that jazz, and even with the first one, how she made a big deal. They're like, they attacked us out in public with all the humans around. Like, that was a huge, like, what the fuck, you're never supposed to do that type of thing. So it's kind of like the Geneva Conventions of vampire Lycan warfare. Like, don't do it in front of humans. So it really seems to me that they established that they don't like to kill humans. Period. Dot. And then this one, like, yeah, she was frozen for a while. Yeah, the humans have been exterminating them. But, like, she had 0 fucks to give about all the humans that she was killing. Like, no fucks and lots of humans. Which just seemed a bit of a tone change from the first one. And yeah, they're helmeted, evil ones that are just, like, burning people in the streets. Like, I get that we're establishing those humans as the bad ones. But with how fast they showed Celine in the first one, being able to take people out, like, I don't know. It's hard to wrap my head around that tone change from, like, don't kill any humans to, like, fuck all these humans because I'm a badass. So, that being said, how she took them out was badass, and it looked really cool, so props for that. But yeah, the car chase was meh because of the weird CGI and just, yeah. But the like, skull rip thing was fucking awesome. And I like that. Since for the spoiler territory, Subject 2, her daughter, was a badass motherfucker too. And she was badass in Kite, from what I vaguely remember, so don't quote me on, but I remember it being like a Leon the Professional type of, like, she a badass with Samuel Jackson, I think. So, yeah. Anywho, this movie, fun time, 2 thumbs up, and yeah, that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the next one. Bye.